Did you know that only 30% of family businesses make it to the second generation? And only 12% successfully make it to the third generation? Don't let your family business become a statistic. I want to tell you about a family that I worked with. A father who had spent over 30 years building a business from nothing. His son had worked alongside him for more than a decade. The plan, understood by everyone in the family, never written down by anyone, was that the son would take over when the father was ready. When a serious health event took the father out of the business unexpectedly, they discovered that there was nothing on paper. No legal structure for the ownership transfer, no agreement on how the business would be valued, no documented authority for the son to make the decisions the business urgently needed. No plan. The business very nearly collapsed, not because of bad intentions, not because of lack of love for one another, but because a conversation that everyone assumed had been completed had never actually been finished. This story is not unusual. It is the story of thousands of family businesses around the world. And today, I want to make sure that it does not become yours. My name is Riaz, the founder of Seerah Capital. Over 15 years of building, scaling, and operating businesses, I have worked through succession situations from both sides. As an operator, navigating transition, and as an advisor, guiding family businesses through one of the most complex processes any business ever undertakes. And we have developed a 5-step framework that creates succession clarity without destroying the relationships that make the business worth passing on. So let us walk you through it. Now, before the framework, I want to address why this conversation gets avoided. Because it does, consistently, by some of the most capable, decisive business people that we have ever met. And the first reason is emotional. Talking about succession can feel like talking about stepping back, stepping aside, and confronting your own mortality, which in reality should not be a problem for us as Muslims, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, "Akthiru dhikra hazimil ladhat." Increase in the remembrance of the cutter of all pleasures, that is death. For a founder whose identity is deeply intertwined with the business that they have built over decades, that conversation can feel like a kind of loss. So it gets deferred year after year. The second reason is conflict avoidance. In many family businesses, succession decisions touch some of the most sensitive dynamics imaginable. Things like sibling relationships, perceptions of fairness across generations, the roles of spouses, questions of who contributed what to the business's success. So most families choose not to open that conversation because they are afraid of what might emerge. But here is the truth that every experienced business advisor knows. And every family that has gone through a difficult transition has learned the hard way. Avoiding the conversation does not prevent the conflict. It simply means the conflict happens during a crisis. For example, the death of a loved one, when emotions are at the highest, choices are fewest, and the stakes are their absolute greatest. So let's jump right into it. Step number 1, separate the conversations. Separate the business conversation from the family conversation. This is the single most important structural discipline in family business succession planning. The business needs a succession plan that is commercially sound, protecting asset value, maintaining the confidence of clients, staff, suppliers, and ensuring operational continuity. The family needs a separate conversation about roles, expectations, relationships, and what each person needs to feel treated fairly. These two conversations must both happen, but they must happen as distinct processes with different participants in some cases, different facilitators, and completely different frameworks. When they get blurred, when the emotional family conversation contaminates the commercial business planning, or when commercial structures create resentment in the family, the whole process breaks down. So let's keep them separate. Step number 2, define precisely what is being transferred. Now, succession is not simply the business passing from one generation to the next. There are four distinct dimensions that may transfer at different times to different people in different ways. Number one, ownership. Who holds the equity and in what proportion? Number two, leadership. Who runs the daily operations? Number three, governance. Who holds strategic oversight on a board? And number four, financial benefit. How are profits and assets distributed? A successor can have full operational leadership without equity ownership. A founder can retain board-level governance after stepping completely away from day-to-day management. Defining each of these four dimensions explicitly and deliberately on paper with advisors prevents an enormous amount of assumption, confusion, and resentment that destroys family businesses further down the line. Step number 3. Properly assess and develop the successor. This is the step most family businesses either skip entirely or compress dangerously, and the consequences are significant. Assuming that a family member is ready to lead the business because they have worked within it is not the same as systematically preparing them to lead it at the next level. A proper successor development plan includes a formal skills gap assessment against what the business actually needs in the next phase of growth, not what it needed yesterday. This is a major problem in family businesses. Structured experience across every key function of the business is key, and mentorship from both the outgoing leaders and external advisors where necessary who provide independent perspective is necessary. And then a progressive, phased transfer of decision-making authority, starting with lower stakes operational decisions and building gradually to full strategic responsibility. This process, if it is done properly, typically takes between 2 and 5 years. So the earlier that you begin it, the better prepared both the business and the successor will be. Number 4, and this is something that as Muslims we should really be putting into practice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha tadayantum bidaynin ila ajalin musamman faktubuhu. In this ayah of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about debt. And He mentions that if a person is entering into a debt transaction, then both sides should make sure that it is written down. Why? Because it's a complex transaction. It involves different parties that have got roles and responsibilities. So step number 4, formalize the entire succession structure in legally binding written form. This is where good intentions become genuine protection for every person involved. Every element of the succession plan must be documented in forms that will withstand scrutiny and pressure and legal muster. A shareholders agreement that governs the terms of ownership transfer and protects both majority and minority interests, including protection for family members who are not operationally involved. This is absolutely key. Updated wills and estate planning documents fully aligned with the business succession structure. And of course, in our situation, ensuring that everything is done in a Sharia compliant way. And a family business constitution, a document that sets out the values, the rules of engagement, the dispute resolution process for the family in its relationship with the business. Remember, this becomes the interface between your heirs, your beneficiaries, who will become the shareholders of the business, and the business itself. These documents do not replace trust. They give trust something solid to stand on when life applies pressure. And in family businesses across generations and life events, especially if it is a sizable business, pressure always arrives. Step number 5, manage the transition actively and communicate clearly to everyone who matters. The moment succession becomes known outside the immediate family, it creates uncertainty. Staff will worry about their future, long-standing customers and clients question continuity, key suppliers assess their relationship. This is normal, but it needs to be managed deliberately and on your terms. A well-managed transition has the outgoing founder remaining visible and actively publicly supportive of the successor throughout the process. Key client relationships are transferred personally, with the founder present, making the introduction, signaling confidence. Staff receive honest, timely communication about what is changing and critically what is not changing about the business that they committed to. If it is done well, a succession increases the confidence that key stakeholders have in your business, not decreases it. It signals strength, not weakness. It says this business is built to last. Now, succession planning done right is one of the most powerful things you can do for your business, your family, and your legacy. It is not about stepping away. It is about ensuring that what you have built continues to grow and serve with or without you into the room. This is the conversation that this channel was built to have. If you have enjoyed this video, the next step is to assess how succession ready your business is right now. Take the free Seerah Capital Business Health Check linked in the description below. It includes a dedicated values and legacy section that gives you a clear, scored assessment of your succession readiness alongside the other 5 areas of your business. There is no confidential information and there is no charge. Your personalized results arrive in your email inbox within minutes of completing the quiz. And if succession is an area that your results identify as needing urgent attention, there is an option to book a free 30-minute discovery call with us, and the results will be right there in your email. I will see you inshallah in the next video.